Today, in the season of creation, we are going to talk about blackbirds. The legend of Kevin and the Blackbird is surely the most famous of Irish legends, celebrated in poetry and music. It gives us an understanding of how legends are created. The process of legend making can be compared to the formation of a pearl within an oyster. It begins with a tiny grain of sand. The oyster then coats that grain with many layers of precious calcium, gradually forming the pearl. A legend begins with a grain of truth. Each time the story is repeated, a new coat is layered on the story. And given the Irish desire and tendency for combining storytelling with baloney and exaggeration, the layering can be extensive. In the case of Kevin, the basic grain of truth is that when a saint is lost in contemplation, with his or her whole focus on God, the saint's body sometimes becomes immobile for some length of time. Often, their hands are open with palms up. It was thus with Kevin, who was resting his hand on the windowsill. It is natural for animals to take advantage of the warmth of a still human body. A blackbird settled in his hand. In the next telling of the story, the bird builds a nest. In the next telling, she lays eggs. And finally, in a grandiose telling, she raises her whole brood of chicks in Kevin's hand. It is important, as regards legends, to appreciate the creative genius of the human imagination, while also retaining the intellectual quest for the foundational grain of truth. Here are some credits for this mini video, as well as a visual of a finished pearl. Now, one of the morals of this story is that if you have any pearls, you should be very careful not to leave them laying around where there are blackbirds, because the blackbirds may take them to play with them. They're very attracted to shiny objects, which they like to play with.